Tisana Galashem Shabbos Hayoim Hashem Shoyderu Shomreinu lrefuah Os Tisana Galashem Shabbos Hayoim Hashem Noch amol Yishoyderu Shomreinu lrefuah Os Tisana Galashem Shabbos Hayoim Hashem Good. What do you want? Why weren't you recording? Okay, Gary's not recording. We got to do the whole song over if you're not recording. Oh, everybody, this is Gary Ben Moshe. Are you ready? All right, everybody together. Good morning, Rabbi Sai. That was the loudest ever. We can do it again, but because we're learning Nazis Gittin and we're in Borough Park, so we'll do it a little different. We'll do Gittin morgen Rabbi Sai. Oh, very good. Okay, so we're going to be Messiah in Masechta Siyum. Masechta Siyum was one of the most fascinating, beautiful Masechtas that we learned. We had a tremendous amount of hanoah with that Masechta. Lili nishmas imi mirasi rusbas Mordechai yishkoyach Eli Stefansky. I can see from the voice, I can hear from the voice. So I just wanted to show you before, if you didn't learn Masechta Siyum, a lot of the Masechta is not about Siyum per se. It's a lot of Agadata and very, very interesting topics in Yiddishkeit. But I felt that if we're going to do the Siyum on Masechta Siyum, I just want to go over in animation to show, if you have never seen this shir, you're new to the shir, and you want to see what the shir is all about. So we have an in-house artist, his name is Yoshi, and he's put a lot of time into this animation. A lot of it is from during the Masechta. We actually have 160 books here. All the animation that he did, all the different pictures for Masechta Siyum. Again, I guess if somebody signs up for the monthly thing, we'll get a mug and this book, because we don't have enough for everybody. I'll go upon him. Let me just go through real quickly what happened here with Masechta Siyum, and then we'll do the Siyum. The Siyum is only 2 lines of Gemara, so I'll show you real quickly. So a person is married and he warns his wife not to seclude herself, to be mistater with a certain individual. Kinui and stira. First he warns her with kinui, and then she ignores him and she's mistater. So it goes something like this. We use lachluchis as our woman. Here the husband is the potato head. It says altistatri and ploini. There's two Adam watching in the back. That's the ploini. She goes, she doesn't listen, and she's mistater. Lachluchis is a character that Yoshi developed based on a Gemara in, I think, Nedarim. It described a woman that had a very round face and round eyes and then feet like a duck, hair like a bunch of anitze pishtan, very, very large ears, maybe like an elephant. So that's how this character is developed. So he brings her to Bezdin. He has to bring her to Bezdin, and when he brings her to Bezdin, he brings her with Edom. That guy's lit from the bone. Out goes the potato head. When they come to the Beis Hamikdash, they have to do something called Priyas HaRoish. They uncover her hair. You see from here that women used to cover their hair. And it goes something like this. Also, if she was wearing nice begadim, if she was wearing white begadim, they made her wear black begadim. They bring her into Lishkas HaGazes. This is where the Sanhedrin sat in a circle. They take off her head covering and they change the clothing. Then they have to bring her to Sharni Konar. Sharni Konar is what we know has 15 steps of Shir Hamalais. And the reason they did this is to tire her out. They figured if she walks a lot back, forth, back, maybe she'll be maida to what she did and she won't have to drink the waters. The point of the whole water, what we learned in Saita, is just that we could figure out what happened. There shouldn't be a suffix. It's not to punish her. So here she is, she's going to walk to the entrance of the Beis Hamikdash and back to the Sharni Konar, those steps, so you can see the steps. If you look over here on a virtual, here there's 15 steps, the Shir Hamalais. This doesn't have the Kedusha of the Beis Hamikdash yet. So she's allowed to stand there. And then comes where the Kohen reads, and he has to write the Parsha of Saita, and he reads it to her. And he reads only the words that are in blue. And he has to write it on a cloth. Then they go ahead and they fill up the water. They have to take special Kaddish water from the kiyar, and they take the dirt. Now the dirt that goes into the water comes from a very special place, and here's where the dirt is. It comes from the Heichal. So here we are, going past Sharni Konar. Here's the Mizbeach, flying over the Mizbeach, going into the Heichal. The Heichal is where you have the Shulchan, the Menorah, the Mizbeach, HaKtoiris, and then one of the tiles on the floor has a handle. You lift it up, and you take the dirt from there, you put it into the water of the kiyar, and you make sure that you're able to see the dirt. It's nikar. And then there's mechikas Hashem. So you take the Megillah that he wrote, and you erase even Hashem's name, for Shalom Bayis, erase Hashem's name. Then we have to prepare the mincha. The woman brings a mincha. You take a very simple basket, salamitzri, you fill it up with flour. Then you take the golden basket, you fill that up, you pour it into there. Then the kohen has to take kmitza. This is almost what kmitza looks like. There's a little bit of a mistake here. We're going to fix it for a different time. The kohen takes 3 fingers worth of flour, that's kmitza, puts it into another klisharis. The mistake is that it shouldn't go like this. It should be more like a karate chop into it. And now, the kohen does tnufa together with the woman. There's a machlokes whether the kohen touches her hands or not. He says if he does, then he's an old person, so he's not makbid, he does whatever, it doesn't matter to him. Tnufa is like what we do with a lulav, haylacha, hayva, mala, moirid, and then he has to take the mincha, the kmitza, and bring it to the mizbeach. So here's mala, moirid, moilich, mevi. Then comes the Hagasha. He has to take the kmitza and touch the mizbeach with it. Here he is, walking with it, going and touching the mizbeach. Here comes everybody's favorite part, where the woman explodes and dies. Shmak a movie. Okay, so she drinks the water, the meisaita. All of a sudden her face turns colors, and the kohen starts screaming, "Hoitziyua, get her out of here, because if she dies, we don't want a dead person here in the Beis HaMikdash." So here she is, things starts changing in her, and here's some volume. If you have volume, it'll be good. No volume. Oh, there's no volume. Okay, different time. She falls into pieces, her head rolls away. Givaldik. End of the story. Now, what's interesting is that the person that was over the Aveira with her, at the same exact time, this is what happens to him. He gets the same punishment. All right. So that's the animation for Saita. And Lamaisa, we had animation during this Masechta. We had animation on Tum and Tahara, on very complicated sugyas of Tum and Tahara. And when I showed it to a very young child, he was under 5 years old, showed him where a Tful Yaim touched the Truma, and then he touched the Tahara, and I asked him questions afterwards. He was very well versed in it. Why? Because some people, animation, it's babyish, the pictures, I go to a shir, there's only lumdus over there. No baby shit pictures. But Lamaisa, at the end of the day, it gets embedded in a person's brain. When you see these pictures, if a little child could understand it, certainly an adult, and then you remember things that otherwise you might not have remembered. So with that being said, let's finish the last few lines. Who's doing the Hadron? Me? I'm not doing the Hadron, no. Seriously, who's doing the Hadron? I never do a Hadron. Babas? Rabbi Elias, maybe you do it. Nisanel, you want to do the Hadron?
No, Yosef.
Everybody, who wants Yossi Klein to do it? Yossi Klein, get over here.
Get over here!
Yossi, come here. It's a Kiddush Hashem, no? You mechazik people. Yossi, stop, don't prava nu v'monzi, not over here. You don't have to have a hat. Nobody's judging you. Here, get a hat. You want a lrefuah hat or a chassidish hat?
Yes, a hat. Give him a tie.
All right, fine. Nisan, you want to do it? Huh? Let's go. Very good point. Yossi, you learned it. You learned every word. You did chazar. Yossi does chazar on Shabbos. Come on, no. MDY style. You chassid. We know that you wear a hat and jacket every day, and today you're not. It's fine. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, Yossi. All right. So the last two lines is coming. Says the Mishnah, Mishemeis Rebbe, Botla Anova V'Yiras. Once Rebbe was nifter, and Rebbe wrote the Mishnah. Obviously, he didn't write this part of the Mishnah. He says, once Rebbe died, there's no more Anova, no more Yiras Chet. Omar le Rabbi Yosef Latano, the one writing the Mishnah, Lo Sitni Anova. It doesn't make any sense to write that there's no Anova from the time the Rebbe was nifter. Why? Dika Anah. What about me? I'm an Anov. It sounds funny, and it's very hard to understand. How would Rabbi Yosef write something like that? How would he say something like that? It says in the Mishnah that there's no Anov anymore. Wait a minute, there's me. I'm an Anov. Sounds like the most gaivadik thing ever. So there's a number of tirutzim. the pshat that makes more sense to me, I'm not saying it's the best pshat, for me, Rav Yosef, he's saying that Torah has to be emes. And if you're going to write something in the Mishnah, it has to be 100% emes. And I don't think it's emes. I'm an onav. I think Behilchas Anova, I'm an onav. And you shouldn't be writing things that are not 100% true. I have to stick up for the truth. Moshe Rabbeinu knew that he's an onav. And he said he's an onav. But it didn't take away from his anova, because you have to know where you are and who you are. And he said it. The Vilna Gaon says, the Gross says that Anah is a name of a Tana. Rabbi Yosef was saying, don't say that there's no more Anah. The Ika Anah, there's a Tana by the name of Anah. That's what the Vilna Gaon says. Hard pshat. Another pshat that I saw is that Rav Yosef, we know Rav Yosef, he lost all his Torah. He got sick, he forgot everything. And the Gemara always says that Abai used to remind him. Abai said, Rebbe, don't you remember this, remember that, you told us this way, that way. So perhaps Rav Yosef was saying, there's nothing more humiliating than forgetting everything I learned. There's still, I was Rav Yosef, I knew so much and I knew everything, and now I don't know anything. Rav Nachman Tana, same thing we have there. Rav Nachman told the Tana, yahrtzeit. Don't say that from the time that Rebbe was nifter, there's no more yahrtzeit. Yosef, hello, we're finished. Get over here. No hat? Come. Ooh, broke his leg for that. You're right?
No.
That's your einish for coming here without a hat and jacket. It's on the spot. But sit in the yahrtzeit. The Ika Ano. Rav Nachman said about himself again, there's me, I have yahrtzeit, and Memela, Rabbi Sai. Zog, you could say it together with Doilim, could say it together with him. Hadran Allah. Say it loud. This is not a Torah and Chazis Shtibel. Let's say it loud.
Allah kijk de rief en stil ik nog gezegd zo te halen. Allah kijk de rief en stil ik nog gezegd zo te. Allah kijk de rief en stil ik nog gezegd zo te.
Let's say it down here.
Allah gezegd zo te. Allah gezegd zo te. Allah lust naast me nog gezegd zo te. Lust naast me nog mal met daar. Allah baal me dus. Allah gezegd zo te. Allah gezegd zo te. Allah lust naast me nog gezegd zo te. Lust naast me nog mal met daar. Allah baal me dus. Ruts me vandaag de lijn langs fijn. Ik sta maar als kom zijn die willen maar zeggen. Sai muni le mabu. Khanina barkopa. Roma barkopa nach barkopa akhwi barkopa am bemeri barkopa raf barkopa rukhs bar. Kopa serho barkopa ad bar. Kopa duri barkopa. هذا من ولدنا العين يدرس راسخ بفيني في سام خبايس إسرائيل بني كلوني ناخذ تسواني تسوام خبايس إسرائيل كلوني يدش ميخ ولا من سلسيخو وهي بقى تخك ماني متستخ لا لام هي لي بيسم بخكيخ المال أيوش لا لام لا إيش كخ بكده كلام خيسوني بريخ عطوا لا لام داين خكيخو أمين سيل ورواد ما دون فنيخو من العين ولا سنة سامدخو كان ميجو بس ما رجع سامدخو كان ميجو كلوني يشون مشكيمة وأنا مشكيمة اللي دبرتيرة مشكيمة اللي دبر متعلم إني معلم وأنا معلم كام صغار معلم كاب صغار وأنا يروت معلم بروتين وأنا يروت من خام معلم أبوه معلم بروتين بعد شخص شليما الوقت اللي هم تريد من بعد شخص عن شدو من ولا يحتي مع مني أفتح باخ يروت ما فني خلنا لا إنك شمس ذات اللي فاهم سيختار جمزران الناس خمس سيخت ما خارج من سام للمد اللامد ليش من الغلاس اللي كانت كل دبر سام مترسخ عاوز خس كل تنم بمرو مسمي دخام يعمل لي لزاري شلون يصمم شطير في زاري زي زاري يضل من كان بي صلاة خطان خوات وشاف وشمال اللي يخو كيسيس خاخو كي بير بيمخ بيسيف الاخو شنو اسخام ورخ يمينه بسم الله اشرب خبد انه اسلامي انه بيرخ سام شولا
Say college go.
You saying it?
Skada shmei dabo. Bi'amdu Yosef lechadas eliachim nesayla sogi yosayim lechayam min dekat shleima shachla hechal begavel memel kham lrefuah min arla khavul kham b'shmai la so yam khut shbrikh machusi vikor ve'yatzov bekonei vikore mishichei. Bechai echol Yomi Gittin bechai de Beis so ba golo v'zman korev meru amen. Yehei Shemei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Amen. Ma Yisborach V'shtap V'yisborach V'shlom V'snasei V'yis'ala Shemei Dekutsha B'richu Le'elam V'chosav V'shiros L'shv'chosav Menachem Mosad L'miram B'lama V'miru Amen.
Amen.
Al Yisrael V'Arabon V'al Tamidei V'kol Tamidei Samidei V'chol Mad Oskim B'Rais V'divas V'kedish V'div V'chol Savi Asar Yelo V'chol Shlom Rabba V'chini V'chizda V'racham V'chayin Arichin V'zoyin V'chei U'v'konim V'kol Nevun V'shemai V'ara V'imru Amen.
Amen.
Yehei Shlom Rabba Shemai V'chayin Toy V'lein V'kol Yisrael V'ru Amen.
Amen.
Ayiseh Shlom Rabba V'yasa Shlom Lein V'kol Yisrael V'ru Amen.
Amen. Let's go.
Simmen Tov Mazel Tov Mazel Tov Simmen Tov Yehei Lanu L'chol Yisrael I Simmen Tov Mazel Tov Simmen Tov Yehei Lanu L'chol Yisrael I Simmen Tov Mazel Tov Simmen Tov Yehei Lanu L'chol Yisrael I Simmen Tov Mazel Tov Simmen Tov Yehei Lanu L'chol Yisrael Simmen Tov Mazel Tov Simmen Tov Yehei Lanu L'chol Yisrael I Simmen Tov Mazel Tov Simmen Tov Yehei Lanu L'chol Yisrael I Simmen Tov Mazel Tov Simmen Tov Yehei Lanu L'chol Yisrael Simmen Tov Mazel Tov Simmen Tov Yehei Lanu L'chol Yisrael It's geschmack to do the daf, geschmack to do the daf. La 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 la. Ay 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 ay. Geschmack to do the daf, geschmack to do the daf. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Ay ay la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Aha 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 ya ya ya. Geschmack to do the daf, geschmack to do the daf. La 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 la. Oh oh ay ay ay. Geschmack to do the daf, geschmack to do the daf. La 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 la. Oh la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Right. So Rabbi said before we start this Gittin, I have to give a tremendous ishkoyach to Rabbi Yamin Kar, who's sitting right in front of me, ishkoyach, who donated the entire hall and all the food. Bechinam on him, fiscal mitzvahs. Should see a lot of hatzlacha in Parnosa, no more fires. Rabbi said, if you have a simcha, you should do it here. Support Rabbi Yamin Kar, MDY. We support each other. Yishkoyach. I thanked Rabbi Nisanel Gans, who put in hundreds of hours. I have to thank again Yossi Klein for being Messiah. I know he didn't want to, but it's a chizik for us. You can't imagine the amount of hours that Rabbi Yossi Klein puts in his office. I'm not exaggerating. He pays 2 women, not one, 2 women, to work full-time for MDY. doing bills and stuff like that. He does so much behind the scenes. Yishkoyach Gadol. Shlomi Rosenberg, who doesn't want to be mentioned, so I'm not going to mention him. He spends also hundreds and hundreds every day, nothing to do with tonight, on a daily basis. He might quit because I mentioned his name, but too bad, I have to say Yishkoyach. Hakar Satayv is something that we have to do. So Yishkoyach, I have to say Yishkoyach to Tomer Levy, our executive director, who flew in from Eretz Yisrael a week ago to be here and to set up and to make sure that everything's going to run smoothly. It's not only tonight. Tomorrow we have Muncie, then we have Queens, then we have the Five Towns and the White Shul, and finally Lakewood. So each one is a parsha b'fnei atzma. So Yishkoyach. Gary Ben Moshe flew in with me from Eretz Yisrael on my flight. Do the tech, Mark Ashkenazi with the tech. Who else do we have? I know I'm going to be missing many, many names. Yochanan Nitzkowitz was on the phone. How do you say it? He took all the phone calls that had to do with tonight, with all the nights. So Yishkoyach Yochanan Nitzkowitz, thank you for always pushing the daf. Yosef Biliak, who's not here, he's in Eretz Yisrael, but he edits the videos and he has to stay up through the night to do it. So Yishkoyach to him. Bracha Schuldenfrey, that's how you pronounce it? She's our official graphic designer who's from Design Lab, and she did all the graphic art for tonight, and she also worked many, many hours on all the different promotional stuff. So Yishkoyach. Molandy for arranging all the Shoyim security for this event. Sruli Pesach from the Shoyim, so Yishkoyach. So, let me see if I can get to it real quickly. When we start a Masechta, so typically we go through, there's always new people that haven't learned the daf, and they're not sure if they want to learn the daf, so they come in for Daf Beis. They want to see what's going on. It's the same people that did Brachas Daf Beis and fell out of Daf Gimel. So here they are. So for those people that are new to the daf, I want to go through some of the reasons why you think Daf Yomi is not for you, and maybe we could talk about it for a few minutes, and then we'll jump into the daf. So here goes. The Yetzer Hara always says, I always fall behind. It's not, I tried it a few times and I fall behind. Iyun is the right way. My Rosh Yeshiva always told me that Iyun is the only way to do it. And this is too fast and it's just too bekizdik, not for me. I don't retain. The Yetzer Hara says, but I have nothing from it. It's so, daf a day, how can you remember something like that? It's impossible. And then finally, a lot of people tell me, I find people on the street, it's unbelievable, they still use this excuse. I don't have time. What are you doing all day? I don't have time. So, let's talk about some of them. I always fall behind. So it goes like this, something like this. This is special for tonight. The Ar Hasidische Turtles, believe it or not, in Borough Park. So the idea is, this is one of the best concepts that we came up with. Seriously speaking, one of the best ideas, and somebody just told me that this is a lifesaver for him, and I heard from probably hundreds of people so far, that the idea is to learn now, catch up later. And that is, if you fall behind, because everybody falls behind, almost everybody, there are a few, real yekisha people that never miss a daf, and no matter what, fine. There's people, a guy told me yesterday that he sat shiva twice on his brother and on his mother. And it really took him out of the daf. 7 days of not learning, and then all the depression that comes afterwards, whatever, he got out of it. So he said he's missing Masechta Shabbos. That's what he told me. But L'maisa, if you take this idea and say, you know what? Yes, I missed 10 daf here. Pesach was very hard for me to learn. I don't care. I'm not going to be a perfectionist now. I am, by personality, a perfectionist, but today I'm not going to be a perfectionist because I want to learn Torah. I want to be with her. So what you do is you do the daf that Klal Yisrael is doing. Today is Gittin Beis, you go to Gittin Beis. If you miss 5 daf and soita and you're going to try to make it up, what happens is it becomes 6 daf and then 7 daf, 10 daf, then you get the yush and you just drop out of the daf. The trick is to jump ahead. 5. Once we know that, iyun is the right way. You have a younger guy that's learning mamish b'iyun. 50 years later, he was on Daf Beis when he started. Today he's on Daf Gimel. 50 years later, he does have MDY socks. I'm not sure why. Okay, listen, Rabbi Elias, this is my pet peeve. I went around to yeshivas. I was speaking to Bacharim. It really hurts me. I get these emails almost on a daily basis. I don't know if you're not familiar with the shir. I read the emails in the beginning of the shir. We get like 30 emails a day, whatever it is, 30, 40, sometimes 5, 10, whatever it is. We get a lot of emails. And the overwhelming majority of these emails are people that say, I haven't learned in 10 years, I haven't learned in 18 years, in 20 years. What's pshat? How come people don't learn for so long? This is one of the biggest reasons, I believe. I learned in a lot of yeshivas, and so did most of you. The rosh yeshivas in the yeshiva, they used to tell us, at least in my yeshivas, the only way to learn is iyun. And they would knock Daf Yomi, they would knock, that's for Amaratzim, for Balabatim. If they would only know how much damage that causes, these kind of knocks. I'm not arguing with them. I'm not saying iyun is not the way. I'm not going to argue with them. There's a way to learn Torah, and the Bekiyas might not be the best way. But to have yeshiva guys that learned in yeshiva, and they did so well in yeshiva, and to go work and not open up a sefer for 10 years is mamsha crime. I asked somebody today, I said, what's more important? He said, I don't learn. I haven't learned. But I said, what's more important, to put on tefillin or to learn? So you're probably learning. No. Would a day go by you don't put on tefillin? No, you'd be embarrassed if you didn't put on tefillin, right? For most of us. So how you tachen that a guy that went to yeshiva, a guy that learned, and he knows how important Torah is, and many of us were guilty of this. We go on vacation, we go here, we go there, chalamayid, we don't open up a sefer. How's it possible? It's the most important thing, the first thing a person should do in his day is to learn Torah. So how to get out of it? The way to do it is to come up, I don't know of a better way than Daf Yomi. The consistency, the day in, day out, every single day. So if you were on the brinks and you're not sure if you should do the daf, I'm telling you, think to yourself. What happens is these yeshiva guys, they come out, they say, I'm not going to learn anything but iyun. Grada, today I don't have a chavrusa. I didn't learn in 10 years, but when I'm going to learn, it's going to be b'iyun. Shkoyach. You didn't learn anything. So you might as well learn the daf. That's what we have. It's not the best, but it's the best for what we have today. Because you're not going to get the chavrusa that you think you're going to get. And even if you get him, you're not going to learn 7 days a week with him. You're only going to learn 3, and then he's going to miss, and then this, and it comes out to 1, and then it's 0, and then you're going to write Eli Stefansky email in 10 years from now that you didn't learn in 10 years. Shkoyach. So start today. I don't retain, and I don't have time. We're not going to get into these now. But the bottom line is that this is what we have, especially when you have pictures and you have animation, and there's so much that you retain. People that are part of the shir, they can tell you everything about trumas and maestras, tum and tahara. Some of the hardest sugyas are just very, very simple. They're brought down to earth, and they become a big part of who we are and what we are. And to learn Torah every day makes you a much, much better person. You become a better person in all areas. And I really encourage you, if you are not part of the daf, to join the daf today. Don't push it off. Today is a brand new Masechta Gittin. So, again, I have to take this in. And I think everybody in the room should take this idea in, that we are sitting here with over 1,000 people. Maybe I think it's 1,300 people. According to the amount of chairs, they put, I think, 1,200 chairs out, and there's whatever. There's people standing, and they brought out more chairs afterwards. Over 1,000 people from all sorts of paths in Yiddishkeit. You have here people with colored shirts, with white shirts, with hats, with payas, without payas. And it's a tremendous maimed of Kiddush Hashem. Be'emes. Think about it, take it in. Because very rarely do you have such a thing that so many people coming together. And for what? For one reason. To learn Torah together. And another thing I'm thinking is that this might be one of the largest shiurim for Torah in history. Pashat in history. Again, maybe in the time of the Tanaim they had, in the last 1,000 years, when did they have 1,000 people get together to learn a Daf Gemara? So, for Masechtas Nazir, I brought a real Nazir, interviewed a real Nazir. We had all the jokes about Masechtas Siyum, we're not going to go there. For Masechtas Gittin, I called up a bunch of Seifrim and I said, I need a get. I need a get. Give me a get. And the Seifrim told me, you can't write a get in Eretz Yisrael. It's also to write a get. We refuse to write you a get. There's different rules. The Rabbanut said that you can't write a get. If you write a get, you have to tear it up right away. And I said, but I need a get. I need a get for my shir. I'm not going to come to Borough Park without a get. Need a get right now. So, here I am in the Beis Medrash, fighting with the Cipher, telling him, I don't care how much it costs, get me a get now. I'm traveling to America tonight, make it happen. One of my very dear Chaverim, he calls me up, he says, I need to meet with you, emergency. I said, what's going on? He says, I need to meet. I said, I don't have time for you. I love you dearly, but I'm flying tonight and I can't schmooze. So listen, we got to talk. I'm not going to take no for an answer. I'm coming over right now. We got to schmooze. So he comes in. I said, no, what's going on? He starts beating around the bush, saying this, that, and then all of a sudden he starts telling me, you start complimenting your wife, and you should buy her some gifts. I'm like, what are you talking about? I know you're hacking in China. That's where you came to waste my time here. He says, you think I'm stupid? I heard you saying you need a get. And you need it now. L'mais Rabbi say, I got a get. This is what a get looks like. I've never seen one in my life. This is a get. And basically, it's very interesting. It has sirtut. Sirtut is the lines that the cipher follows. This is one of the most illegal things I've ever done in my life. You could go to prison for this. But what I don't do for my shir, it's unbelievable. Be'emes, you're not allowed to have a get. I found some guy that didn't know the rule, and he fooled him. So here it is. By the way, the word get, they say, is the only two letters, Gimel and Tes, that are never put together anywhere in the Torah, anywhere in Lashon Kodesh. And they said this over to Reb Chaim Kanievsky. He says it's not true. Tzadik and Shin also are never together. So he said, okay, fine. So the pshat is, it's the first ones that are not put together. Okay, the Gimel and the Tes, fine. So this is a get. I might have to tear it up right now. It's made on it's not made on parchment. I don't know if the Olam knew. A get is not made on parchment today. It's made on a certain type of paper. And as soon as they write it, they rip it up, tear it into shreds for whatever reasons they have. Okay. I do want to introduce you. Every Masechta we have a special character, for the Masechta, for the art. So this is what we came up for Masechtas Gittin. This is the husband that wants to divorce his wife. Let me introduce it to you. Oh no. I guess Yoshi changed it. Okay. This, Rabbi said, the husband, I guess I'm gonna show tomorrow. He took this out. I didn't know. Be'emes, I didn't know. This is the shliach. I don't know if you can recognize him. Let me see what he looks like from the side. Oh. I'm going to have a lot of fun with this guy. He's a shliach that trips a lot, falls off his bike. He's holding a get in his hand. Don't worry, he's wearing tchelas. Okay. Rabbi say, let's start Masechtas Gittin. Imagine that there's an aguna, let's say in Eretz Yisrael, and she's really upset that she can't get divorced. Her husband ran away to some place. He ran away to America. Went away to Brooklyn. And finally, they catch up with the guy, and they convince him to give his wife a get. It's already a aguna for 20 years. Here it is. It's a one-time shot. We have an opportunity to get a get from him. But when we get a get from him, we have to do it the right way. We have to make sure that it's done properly. And if it's not done properly, that's it. Who knows? It might be another 20 years until you find this guy. So, Amevi get Mimedinas Hayom, when you bring the shliach, this, here, let's see if I can control it. No, here, can you show them again? Mr. Shliach, when he brings the get, Mimedinas Hayom, from Chutz La'aretz, and I'll show you real quickly. Here. So, here's Eretz Yisrael, and everything outside of Eretz Yisrael is Chutz La'aretz. Mimedinas Hayom. Besides Bavel, says Rashi. Bavel, there's so much Torah going on in Bavel that it's different. There's also Sheyaris Mitzuya, it's different. Everything outside of Eretz Yisrael, as you see over here in the picture, is Mimedinas Hayom. So if you bring a get from Mimedinas Hayom, the shliach, whatever we're going to call him, I don't even know what to call him. I don't want to get into trouble from the, what do they call those guys? Secret Service, yeah. From the Secret Service. They might come knocking, but it's the Bodin, I don't know what we're going to call him. Hold on a second. Before we go, I have to do my duties here. Let's just see. So real quickly, sorry. I don't like to do this in the middle of learning, but I forgot to do it because of all the excitement. The Koilel is sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood, the Masechta. We don't have a sponsor for the Masechta yet. The month, Paras HaChodesh Li'nishmas Chai Bas Yosef, another Paras HaChodesh Li'nishmas Zechariah Ben Moshe, another Paras HaChodesh Li'nishmas Eliyahu Ben Yosef Menachem Mendel, Parnas HaYoim, brain intact, should be Zoicha de Nachat Zdusha and tremendous success in all my endeavors. Second sponsor, Yid, Shimon Naftule Tzvi Ben Yehudis, lrefuah shleima, young boy had a major seizure. Dr. Listhaus, in memory of my dear father-in-law on his 26th yahrtzeit, Rabbi Elias Lauer, Shalom, in memory of my bubby, Chana Bracha Bas David Aleh Shalom, and my 5 aunts and uncles and cousins on their 79th yahrtzeit who were killed by the Nazis Yemach S'hmam at Auschwitz. Parnas Hayoim, for an easy and healthy labor for Aliza Simcha Shina Masha Bas Bracha. And Morei Rabbi, Rebelli Shlita. Welcome back home to Brooklyn, your Talmud, Peretz Chaim Levine. Yishkoyach Peretz Chaim Levine. I did not see this before. Nice surprise. Yishkoyach Peretz Chaim is somebody that brought well over 500 people this year. Peretz Chaim, come here, bring Rafal with you. Rafal the barber also brought like 400 people this year, maybe even more. The 6th sponsor of the day, Friends of MDY, and Young Israel, Beth El Borough Park, Lila Nishmas, Randy Lieberman. Yishkoyach to Beth El Borough Park. I didn't see this either. That's where we had the big share a few weeks ago. Ruvain Zev Ben Rafal Moshe Zechariah Levracha lived all his life in Borough Park. He was an avid follower of MDY. Loved rebellion in the Daf. Yishkoyach. Oh, that's the guy from the transit authority. Yishkoyach, come over here. Here, maybe come around on the steps. Easier. And the 7th sponsor of the day, Hadar Weiss, my father, Yoina Moshe ben Yontav Lipa, 5th Siyum Hashas, and upcoming 75th birthday. Mazel Tov. The art, the amazing art of Yoshi, is sponsored for complete lrefuah for Chaim Tzvi ben Leah, Yishkoyach Peretz Chaim Levine, Yishkoyach Rafal. Between these two tzaddikim, they go out on the street and bring over 1,000 people join this year because of them. It's unbelievable. Anybody in here join because of them? I'm just curious. Anybody? You? One person in out of 1,000? Oh, over there, we got 3 people over there. At least 40, 50 people. Huh? At least 40 or 50 people. Tonight, 40 people signed up. Yishkoyach. Fiscal mitzvahs. Unbelievable. All right, let's continue. Hamevi get Medina Sayom. Person is a shliach and he brings a get from Medina Sayom from Chutz La'aretz. He must say these words that he saw right in front of him, that they wrote the get and they signed the get. We're going to see in the Gemara what the reason is. Let me just get back to my place here. I'm sorry. There's a crazy amount of charts here today. 59 charts, he says. Okay. And this we did. Okay. Here we are. Somewhere like here. Okay. Rabbi Gamliel Omer, Af HaMevi min HaRekem u'min HaCheger. Rekem and Cheger, says Rashi, Kaddish and borrowed. Here we have a little bit of a it shows you where Rekem and Cheger is. Maybe. I'm not taking any responsibility where these places are. Very hard to figure out where they are. It's just to give you an illustrative kind of reference. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Afilu mikfar ludim lilud. Now I have to tell you, I learned Gittin in yeshiva a few times, and I never understood it as well as I understand it right now with this picture. This, I think, is a beautiful graph of what's going on here. Lud is the one in green, it's in Eretz Yisrael. Ludim is the one in red that has the inside that's pink and purple. What's going on here is as follows. Tell me if you ever understood it like this. It's very, very simple, but maybe you didn't understand it as well as this. There's a line, a green line that's going up and down the screen. You see the green line? It should really cut right through Kfar Ludim. It says Ludim Kfar, but it should say Kfar Ludim. But what happens is the pink part of Kfar Ludim just into Lud. It pokes itself into Lud. Lud should be a complete circle, but it's not. So the pink part that you see is in Chutz La'aretz. The green is in Eretz Yisrael. But the pink should really be, if you draw a straight line, the pink should be part of the green, right? But it's not. So Memela says the Mishnah that if you bring a get from the pink part to the green, you have to say B'fanei Nechtav or B'fanei Nechtav, because you're coming from Chutz La'aretz. Even though it's very possible that people are walking through, it's just normal just to cut right through. If you want to go from one part of Lud to the other part of Lud, you're not going to go all the way around the pink. You're going to go straight. No, it's still coming from Chutz La'aretz. Chutz La'aretz requires B'fanei Nechtav, B'fanei Nechtav. They argue on all this. You don't have to say from Lud to Kfar Ludim. You don't have to Rekem and Cheger. We'll see in the Gemara exactly what they say. Only those who come from Medina Sayam and bring it to Medina Sayam. And if you bring it, let's say from New York to New Jersey, 2 different places in Chutz La'aretz, you have to say B'fanei Nechtav, B'fanei Nechtav. So, let's see, what do we have here? Here you have our shliach. This is the first time I'm seeing this, by the way, because he's working through the night, all sorts of, Ooh, this is getting interesting. I know what he's doing. He's going all the way into Borough Park, I think. Here he goes. Boom. There's Golda. Is that it? This is what it looks like? Pshee! Gewaldige stuff. Okay, Shkoyach, Yoshi. He has special powers, this guy. Rabbi said, this is a Gmania like Gmania. This is the best I can come up with. This is East and West Berlin. This is one city. It's before your days, some of you. But they built a wall right down the city. It was the same city, Berlin. But they built a wall down and they said, if you, East Berlin and West Berlin, you can't come from one side to the other. Similar to like East and West Jerusalem. I think it's Yom Yerushalayim today, if anybody cares. I don't know. Here in Bar Park, I don't even want to say it. Okay. But there's parts, even today, I mean, in Yerushalayim, it's kind of hard if you're Jewish to go into that side of the city, into Yerushalayim that's, over the border. East and West Yerushalayim, different, you know what I'm talking about. It's the same city, has the same name, but it has different rulers on different parts of it. You could say like Harabayas, you know what I mean? Like it's controlled by the Jordanians, but it's within Yerushalayim. No. So if I bring a get into Harabayas or Harabayas, you have to say B'fanei Nechtav or B'fanei Nechtav. Rabbi Shimon Naftule Tzvi, afilu me'Gemara l'Gemara. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Menachem la-Mizrach. Now, again, I have to tell you, when I was in yeshiva, I didn't know it was flying here. Why? I grew up in Brooklyn. Grew up in New York. I was born in Lakewood and lived most of my life here. Now, when I first got married and I went to Chicago, I asked somebody, where's Eichenstein Shul? He said, oh, it's 3 blocks east of McCormick. Like, excuse me? 3 blocks east? I had no idea what he was talking about. It's normal, like, in the other countries, like in Chicago, in Miami, everything past New York is a different country. It's Mechutz L'Machna. So in the other, out of town, they call it here. In the other countries, they use east-west. You go west of this. People from Brooklyn, including myself, have no idea what that is because over here, everything is numbers. Go to 14th Avenue. 14th Avenue is right after 13th Avenue. I don't need to know east and west. So no shaykhs. I'm also a pilot, by the way. So when I was flying a plane, I was terrible with directions. And you have to know directions. Ma'aseh Shahaya, they told me to land on runway 34, I think it was. And I had no idea, northwest. 34 is 340 degrees. Land on 340 degrees. I thought 340 degrees is south and not north. I landed on the wrong runway. And the FAA called me up and they wanted to I said, I'm a student, I'm a shaita, and this. I had to apologize. They had a little meeting with me. I told them I grew up in Brooklyn, it's not my fault. Say that. So, be'emes, I had no idea what was going on here, so that's why I made a little map for you. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Merekem la Mizrach, Verekem ke Mizrach. So if you look in Eretz Yisrael, it goes like this. We're doing some of these names here. Hold on. Rekem here. This is Rekem. I think it would be better if we go back to the other map. Where's that map? I thought I had a map here with everything in it. No? Let me see if I can find it without making... Oh! Yeah, this map right here. This is what I need. Basically, what the Mishnah is saying, very, very simple. In America, north is up. When you look at a map, north is always on top. So all the Mishnah is saying is that Akko is north, the one in yellow. Rekem and Cheger is south. It's all the way in the bottom. Rashi says, I don't have to tell you where west is because the Mediterranean is west. So the ocean is west. And... I'm sorry, so Ashkelon is south, and Rekem and Cheger is east. That's what the Mishnah is saying now. So let's see inside. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Merekem lemizrach, Verekem ke Mizrach. So Rekem is our eastern border, all the way in the bottom of this map, but that's east. So everything to the right of that, including Rekem itself, is east. Mi Ashkelon the Daraim, and Ashkelon, which is in blue over here, and south, everything from Ashkelon downwards. This is interesting. Like, I guess it wasn't part of, we shouldn't tell our cousins about this. You're going to start saying that it's theirs. Fine. But Ashkelon in those days was not part of Eretz Yisrael. Ashkelon south down, and Ashkelon is included of not being part of Eretz Yisrael. Vashin Kedar. Me'akal etzafin, on top of the map in yellow is Akoy. Part of Akoy that we, whatever, part of it today. Latzafa, and everything north of that is not Eretz Yisrael. Va'akoy ketzafin. Gittin, not true. The yellow on the map over here is part of Eretz Yisrael, and you don't have to say b'fanei nechtam, b'fanei nechtam. Hamevi get buried with 3 lines from the bottom. Hamevi get buried Yisrael. Eidin tzorach sheyom b'fanei nechtam, b'fanei nechtam. If you bring a get with inside Eretz Yisrael, from Yerushalayim to Bnei Brak, you don't have to say b'fanei nechtam, b'fanei nechtam. V'im yesh alav oirim, and if somebody says that the get is false, it's not a real get, yiskayim b'choysamav, so you just look at the Eidim, and if you could verify that these Eidim, it's really the signature, or of course if the Eidim themselves come and say, that's our signature, then it's a good get. There's once a woman who they're very choshed that she brought a false get. The Bezdin didn't like what they saw. So one of the Dayanim asked her, said, listen, when you got your get, did you go around your husband 7 times or 14 times? She said, no, only 7 times. He said, get out of here. It's not a get. Says the Gemara, my taima, why do you have to say b'fanei nechtam or b'fanei nechtam? That's the beauty of Masechtas Gittin. We're going to have some very, very short dapim compared to Saita, which was just to read them took 50 minutes without even explaining Taich. Says the Gemara, we have a first Shita, Rabba. Rabba Omar, Lefi She'ein Bikim L'shma. So, if you look at this chart right over here, I didn't know how to do it exactly to make it, because we're going to go back and forth. Rabba, Rava, and they sound the same. And in fact, many times in Shas, when it says Rabba, it says in, the Bach is Goris Rava, and it says Rava with Goris Rabba, so they're very interchangeable. But Rabba says L'shma has a hey at the end, so I put them together. Rabba says you need L'shma. What does L'shma mean? It says in the pasuk V'chosav La Sefer Krisos. When you write a get, it has to be with the right intent. You have to write it for this woman in mind. L'shma La. And since there are a lot of people in Chutz La'aretz that are Amaratzim, they don't know what L'shma is, they don't even know that it exists. There's Kamada Maisa Shahaya, where a guy comes to the Rav and the Rav says, listen, I hear all your tzaras, you should check your mezuzahs. What about your mezuzahs? Mezuzahs. You know what mezuzahs I bought? The most expensive mezuzahs. I mean, the box is made out of gold and it's silver, and that thing inside couldn't fit in. So I chopped it in half, I put it in, but the box is mamish. It's a joke, but that's what happened. I got the most beautiful get in the world. It's just not L'shma. It's garbage. It's nothing. Fishem Bekim L'shma. You need L'shma. You have to have the right intent. You know what else you have to have the right intent? When you write a mezuzah, when you write tefillin, you have to write it with L'shma v'Hakadosh Baruch Hu. You have to have. If you buy a pair of tefillin, you have to know what the cipher is. Maybe he's a guy that likes to write. Today in Eretz Yisrael, it's one of the best paying jobs. Sefer Torah, I heard, costs more than $100,000 now. Simple Sefer Torah. So any yukol could be a cipher and what L'shma. It doesn't even know what L'shma means. You have to make sure when you buy your tefillin mezuzahs that the person knows how to say that's L'shem. Every Yudke Vavke, every time you write the Shem Hashem, it has to be L'shma. Fine. So says Rabba, when I bring a get from Chutz La'aretz, I have to make sure that they know these halachas. Not some amaratzas. B'fanei nechtam, b'fanei nechtam. Rav Omar, Lefi she'ein eidim mitzuyim l'kaimai. One word. I need eidim. He's coming from a distant place. I don't know if I'll ever find eidim. Somebody might say so. I need eidim. Says the Gemara, my benayu. So what's the difference? Tachlis. What's the difference between the two pshatim? We have L'shma and Leidim. I need to make sure that's L'shma. I need to make sure that there's Eidim. Says the Gemara, a few very practical differences. Sometimes there's a lot of people coming and going, so the Eidim thing is not an issue. Sometimes I know for sure that there's L'shma, but there's no Eidim. So that's a big difference. What are the cases? If the get was brought with 2 Eidim, so now I don't have Rava's problem. Rava says I need Eidim. I have it here, Eidim. But Rava says I need L'shma. So you would still have to say, according to Rabba, b'fanei nechtam, b'fanei nechtam. We're going to see, and that's already tomorrow, that everybody agrees you need l'shma. That's not even a shaila. Everybody agrees that you need l'shma. There's no achlokes if you need l'shma. You know what else? Everybody agrees that if somebody comes along and says that the get is not a good get, you have to be mekayim it. You have to prove that it's a good get. Inami, another difference between the two. Mimedina lemedina beretz Yisrael. What if I go from Bnei Brak to Yerushalayim? Now, if the problem is l'shma, everybody knows about l'shma and Eretz Yisrael, the old time of the Chachamim, Bnei Brak, Yerushalayim, there's no difference. I don't have to say l'shma. I don't have to say b'fanei nachla, b'fanei nachla. But if the problem is that I don't have the Eidim, no, it's far away. What's the difference? I'm coming from Rekem and Cheger into Eretz Yisrael, I'm coming from Bnei Brak to Yerushalayim. It's the same problem. I'm not going to have the people. You don't have Sheres Mitzuyos. From Golul, Rashi says, okay, different, from the top to the bottom, whatever it is, but you're not going to have Eidim. That's enough community. Inami, another difference. Ba'isa Medina b'Medina Sayom. What if you have in Brooklyn? So now, we don't have a problem of Eidim because it's very close, everybody lives together. But we have a problem of Amaratzos maybe, not in Brooklyn, okay, in another place. In Chicago, in the other countries, out of town. At the end of the day, every type of Eidus in the Torah, when it comes to the Davar Shem Mammon, or anything, you need two Eidim. Why today, when it comes to get, you don't need two? Says the Gemara, Eid Echad Nemon Bi'isurim. We have a concept that an Eid is believed when it comes to Yisurim. Like what? So over here, we could do Rashi and Tosfos together in one shot. Eid Echad Nemon Bi'isurim, Pirsha Kuntrus, says Rashi, Sharimina Torah, you see Tosfos on the bottom? Sharimina Torah, Kol Echad Ve'echad, Ala Froshes Truma, Ushchita. If I go eat at your house, I don't have to worry about Trumas and Maisrus, I could trust you as a Eid Echad. Ushchita, what about Shchita? You say you shechted this. I could trust you that you shechted it. The Nikur, they took out the Gittin and all the stuff that has the V'chelev, the fats that are usher to eat in an animal. I could trust you that it's not in here. Then Tosfos says Rashi doesn't bring a makar for this. Nowhere. He says it's obvious if I could eat it in your house and I could trust you for all these different isurim, then obviously Eidech Onem B'Yisur. But Tosfos himself says, look at this. It says in the pasuk V'Sofra La Shivas Yamim by a Zava that we could trust a woman that she's not Tmeya anymore, even though it might be Ischazik Yisura. Tosfos says it's not such as Ischazik Yisura because since a woman has the ability to be toivel and get rid of the tumah, so she has the right, and we believe her that she's not tmeya. Okay? Tosfos has a makar, Rashi not. Weiter in the Gemara. As the Gemara, you're right. There is a concept of Eid Echad Nemon B'Yisurin that a single witness is believed when it comes to Isser. By the way, I'm just thinking about this now. A lot of people sell chumos, tchina on the street. Some people make their own stuff, their own cookies, cakes. On that, there's a big problem of Eid Echad Nemon B'Yisurim because if somebody does it for a living, then the Mishnah Berurah says you're not allowed to buy from them. Because once somebody does it for a living, they lose their ne'emanos of Eid Echad B'Yisurim because people are biased. It's a big problem. I don't know if you ever learned in the mirror that the people are selling their wife's cakes over there. It's a big problem. Check into it. We have Baruch Hashem in our shir, a big Talmud Chacham, Rabbi Weisfish from Manchester, and he's our in-house shaychet, and he always sends us pictures when it's naget to the daf, and he sent me this picture a while ago, but it's naget today also. This is the chaylev, the fat that's usher to eat in an animal. Is it the right to eat this? Says the Gemara, if you don't know if this piece of fat is the fat that's also to eat, or the fat that's mutter, then 1/8 could come along, or Ravon Weisfish could come and say, oh, it's Shuman, you're allowed to eat it. Why? Because we never had a reason to believe that it's asur. We have two things here. I don't know. Nobody told me that this is also a mutter, and I'm telling you this one is mutter. Fine. This woman is also to the whole world. We all went to her chasana. We know she's married. She's Eishes. Have a davar shebe'erva. So now it flips into davar shebe'erva. This is something. A married woman. Ve'in davar shebe'erva pakas mishnayim. How do we know that ain't davar shebe'erva pakas mishnayim? Says Rashi, because it says in the pasuk Yimatzaba erves davar. And it says by Mamanas, al pishnei edim yokum davar. So the two reds create a gzeir shava, davar, and we learn davar from Mamanas. Just like by Mamanas you need shnayim, so too by Erevin you need shnayim. So why over here is one person believed to bring a get and say b'fanei nechta? You need two edim. Says the Gemara big side, and with that we're going to be finished. Believe it or not, roiv b'kinhein. In fact, you don't even need a shliach, you don't need anybody. When you have a get, 99.9% of the people know what lishma is. Remeir throughout Shas is always worried about the minute possibility of something. For instance, in Yevamis we had that, what about a katan doing yibum? So Chacham says it's not a problem. He could do yibum. Maybe he's poigeya in Eishesach. Maybe he's marrying his sister-in-law, which is the Isidar Raisa. But that's okay because he's going to have kids and he's going to be. But maybe he can't have kids. Maybe he has a medical problem. You don't know. Chacham say that's a vaita chashash. Why should I be worried about that? Remeir says no. I have to be chayshish that this kid will grow up. He won't be able to have children. He cannot be miyabim. Throughout Shas, Remeir is consistent. He's chayshish l'miyuta. Even Remeir is chayshish l'miyuta. I'll tell you Maisa. In Prague, the Rav was on his deathbed. So the Olam went to the Rav and they said, who's going to be our Rav when you nifter? So he said, maybe it should be Remeir. Maybe Remeir. And sure enough, a few days later he's nifter. But the Rav said, maybe it's Remeir. So they went around, they looked everywhere, they opened up the phone book, they looked for all the Remeirs, and they couldn't find a Remeir that passed, that's half decent to be a Rav. And the famous Noida Yehuda lived then in Prague, and he heard what was going on, and he said, listen, I'll explain to you, it's very pashut. What he meant is, maybe there'll be a Remeir that's chayshish l'miyot, maybe I, the Rav of Prague, will get out of my disease and I'll come back, I'll be the Rav. Why should I worry about another Rav? And they liked the pshat a lot, and they made him the Rav because of that. Says the Gemara, Remeir is chayshish l'miyuta. But that's only in a regular place. Stam Safra the Daino Migmag Miri. Who writes a get? The guy that wrote me the get. You should have seen how bucky was in all the halachas. We don't write Gittin, we don't know anything about Gittin. But the guy that writes a get, the guy that knows about writing get, he knows all the halachas, how to write it and how not to write it. I was in the middle of telling you, Lamashal, this sirtut, I don't know if you could see, maybe on this you could see it a little better. I don't know, Gary, could you zoom in on something like this? But basically, it's different than a Sefer Torah's lines. He has a special device. This camera? Oh. Are you able to see the lines on it? Very nice. It's an impression. It's very different than the regular sirtut. He has like a thing with wires. He puts down the piece of paper and he fetches it, and then the sirtut comes out. So you have to know all these things. And a guy that knows these halachas, the little minute details and how to fold it and how to this, I'm not folding it now. But the guy that knows it, he knows about Lishma. The far-fetched, the 0.00 whatever, 0.00 thing, we're not worried. Even Remeir is not worried for that. So, Stam, Safra the Dynamic McMiri, V'Rabbanan the Atzroch. It's only Rabbanan who said that let's be makpid and let him say, B'fanei Nechtav, B'fanei Nechtav, V'Hacha, Mishum Iguna, Daf Gimel Amud Aleph, Mishum Iguna, Akilu B'Rabbanan, and they said, so the Nachama, why do we say that one aid is enough? Because you really don't even need any aidim. 0 aidim is enough. Because everybody's a mumcha, the guys that are writing the Gittin, they're the mumchim in these halachas, they do it lishma. Rabbanan said, let's be makpid, let's put one more thing on it. So Mela, they weren't makpid all the way. They didn't say you need it. You need 2. 1 is enough. Rabbi Sai, Have a wonderful day.